Don't engage alone. We do this together.
Yeah!
Yeah!
We got it! We got
New 52 booklet.
it! Somebody clip this one.
Welcome to Superman Rewatch. I'm Jared, and we are discussing fun and games. But Nick, what are you doing?
We're recording?
You playing with your dolls again?
I'm totally not playing with this episode is about toys, so I figured I'd do some research.
Of course. Says the guy that has shelves full of action figures back there. So there you go. Where does he get all those wonderful toys?
From the supermarket.
Yeah, exactly. So we're talking about fun and games. The introduction of Toyman, which he's basically Chucky / Jigsaw, but for Superman.
Yeah, I really like this episode. Because it is like it's dark, but it's kind of like an under the surface kind of dark, there's nothing really overtly about this episode that's like inappropriate, but it's like also, I don't know if Jared, I got a bit of a Batman Returns vibe from this episode.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit in terms of that. And I
mean,
like
he's got giant toy ducks.
Yeah, and I really like the introduction of Toyman, where they're in the warehouse and he's just shrouded in a shadow. Then obviously you see him bouncing a ball, and it's legit kind of creepy.
One thing I did appreciate from a storytelling standpoint is with the balls bouncing around, you see it hit Superman like a few times, showing like, hey, this stuff could hurt him. Like he dealt with it, but it's a great way to establish threat without it being too much.
Here's the thing: what they did with the show, and it's a good thing and a bad thing. They significantly depowered Superman to give him a challenge with a lot of these characters.
I think for the purposes of the show, I think it was the right call.
I would say so. I mean, for what they are going for, I get what they were going for. So it works. It works in my opinion.
I will say this though, I think this episode gets extra points from Jared for showing Lois exactly as she actually is.
Yeah, it does. I'm giving it the Jennifer Hale boost for 5 points because it shows this is where her value to Superman. She is just a damsel in distress for him to save.
No,
That's
no,
it.
No. You don't get my joke. When she gets captured by Toyman and she gets shown to be
I don't know what this is, Nick.
Lois is a clown, is what I'm trying to say.
I wouldn't go that far.
They literally dressed her as a clown.
I wouldn't go that far. So
all right. I was trying to set you up, but okay.
And then I like how they go through the entire Toyman story, which is basically the way it works that a toy maker named Winslow Scott was conned by Bruno Mannheim, important character in Superman and Lois, and he's gonna play a role later in this series. It was conned by Mannheim into making a toy factory, which was a front for a numbers racket. Schott was arrested for his involvement, while Mannheim was only named a suspect. The toy maker died while in prison, leaving the son. The son becomes Toyman because he wanted revenge. It's the typical like revenge story, which again I like it, and I liked how. I mean, the funny part about this is I like how Superman comes to save Lois Lane for some reason, and they throw that Play-Doh stuff on him. That's like an organism that's supposed to like suffocate him. So Superman's plan is, Lois, take cover. I'm just gonna spin.
I would say at first I thought it was like laced with kryptonite, but I don't think they had
yet.
So I guess you could say Superman spinned right round, baby, right round. Which, by the way, I need to make an edit for that.
Yeah, that would be great. So you could say he took Toyman for a spin.
My joke was better.
Yeah, exactly. So then you have then you also, what's kind of funny is I like how you have like all these like soldiers, these toy soldiers with the pointy guns. Superman shows up and bends the rifle into a loop and goes, don't you know you shouldn't play with sharp objects? I like that one.
I guess you could say he employed some very small soldiers.
Major Chip Hazard maybe made an appearance in this.
Which, by the way, we really should cover that. Like, I know it's not comic
on Friday night. We can do it on your show, not on mine.
Don't threaten me with a good time, brother.
Because that actually would not work on my channel.
That might actually be a movie I get you up for, though.
Mm-hmm. But with this, so I really like, to a degree, I like this version of Lois, probably because she's not with Superman. So it's kind of funny. I tend to like Superman more and Lois more when she's not with Superman. So
also, this version of Jimmy is actually helpful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he is. Yeah, exactly. So here's some trivia. Though Bruno Mannheim is the leader of Intergang, there is no mention of the gang in this episode. It will show up later, as well as a certain conqueror that uses the old ways a lot.
Kang?
Did you just say Kang?
You said conqueror.
That uses the old ways a lot.
Kang uses the old ways a lot.
Earlier in the episode, a police officer reports that they lost their attackers on 3rd and Schuster, and even Nick DM'd me at this one. Yeah, this is definitely a reference to Joe Shuster, the co-creator of Superman. I like whenever they do that. I mean, even on a set photo for the James Gunn movie, they have like Wade Street for Mark Wade. So I'm like,
the Arrowverse actually did this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Arrowverse, oftentimes had like the corner of blah and blah. Like it's at the corner of Neil and Adams.
Okay, I see what you're doing there. That's good. I do appreciate that one. Footage of Toyman's toy factory explosion would be reused in several episodes of this and other subsequent DCAU shows.
Smarter, not harder.
Yeah, well, as we talked to Sam on my show about this, it was like, he said, yeah, a lot of the times it's like, okay, do we need to spend all this money and time redoing this explosion? We could just reuse it.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, that works. I mean, whenever I make edits, sometimes I'll reuse stuff. Or like they even did that in the Snyder Cut, where a lot of that stuff is just reused from other movies because they didn't have time to get Henry Cavill in.
I mean, a lot of the times, especially with effects, they're all done on layers. Mm-hmm. So, like, let's say you have this explosion effect. You just swap out the background layer.
Mm-hmm. There you go. And then you can just roll with it. And so Bud Cort voices Toyman. Bruce Weitz voices Bruno Mannheim and some other characters. But so I enjoyed this episode. It's a very simple one, and it's just establishing that a lot of this is just gonna be Superman shows up and fights a criminal, which I enjoy that.
Yeah, it's a bit bog standard. Like, it's engaging. Like, it's not a bad episode, but it does feel a bit standard. Would you like to hear? If I were to give it my rating, I'd probably say 8.5 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
It's not a bad episode, but like I said, it just feels kind of a bit standard.
Yeah, it feels very much like Creature of the Week, in other words.
Yeah.
Now, next week's episode is going to be A Little Piece of Home. And this is gonna, let me put it this way, there's gonna be a lot of little green rocks in this episode. That will set up another Superman villain later that's made of metal and stuff. So I'm trying not to spoil it, but that's gonna be a really good one. And
I swear, the stuff is starting to happen like Clockwork Orange.
Mm-hmm. So now that we've watched 4 episodes of the show, let me ask you this, Nick: how are you enjoying the show so far?
Well, being a person who did catch the show off and on when it was airing, because I'm such an old man.
So it was in 4000 BC?
I love how even when I try and head out the jokes, you still find.
I always have to insert them. I can't let
Jared's like nature, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice kind of seeing things, and yeah, the show still holds up. I'm going to definitively say that.
Yeah, I would say so.
Mhm.
And in terms of like, yeah, so far I'm enjoying it because this is actually my first time going through the show. I've watched like the first, like I'd say 5 or 6 episodes, so this stuff is familiar to me. But but we're gonna reach a point where I have never watched this, so that it's gonna be really fun to get to go through all this solo. But so let us know below what you guys thought of this episode, if you guys enjoyed it, what you guys liked, what you guys didn't like, and why what you guys didn't like always involves Lois Lane. And let us know what episode you are excited for us to cover. And remember, don't play with toys at home. Stay at work, everyone. Lois Lane is Lois
Super
Lane.
Wonder.
She belongs to General Zod. Zoe's the Max about.